Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today we're embarking on a focused exploration into how our brains unlock language fluency. Our mission for this deep dive, it's to extract the most effective, actionable insights. We're looking at sources focused on a really common challenge for language learners. How to stop translating in your head, how to start thinking directly in English. Maybe you're prepping for a high-stakes meeting or aiming for more spontaneous chats, or maybe you're just fascinated by how fluency works. Whatever your reason, we're here to help you get well-informed quickly and clearly.
Yeah, and what we'll be exploring are concrete strategies, ways to overcome that hesitation and sort of awaken your fluent potential. These are drawn directly from excerpts of an episode called Stop Translating in Your Head, 10 Tips for Thinking in English. It's from the Think in English, Unlock Fluency with Heart podcast. Now, this material, it's designed for intermediate learners, technically, but honestly, the insights are valuable for pretty much anyone looking to improve their language flow, their cognitive efficiency even.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack this. Imagine your English just flowing effortlessly, without that pause, that detour through your native language.
Right.
That's really the promise of today's deep dive, and we're going to break down exactly how you can get there step by step. It's about understanding how your brain learns to bypass that internal translator.
So let's start with a pretty fundamental question. Why do we even translate in the first place? It feels like a natural safety net, right?
Totally.
We often find ourselves thinking, apple equals word in your native language, or I'm tired equals phrase in your native language, like a dictionary lookup. But here's where it gets, really interesting. There's research from Cambridge University. It explicitly shows this habit can slow you down by up to 50%.
50, wow.
Yeah. Your brain's spending valuable cognitive load just on translating instead of, direct understanding and speaking.
It's kind of counterintuitive, isn't it? That feeling of safety, actually. It stifles fluency. So what's the biggest misunderstanding people have about this safety net idea?
Well, they think it helps accuracy, maybe, but the cost is speed and spontaneity.
Right. It creates this significant lag, interrupts your natural thought process, and can just stall conversations. We feel stuck. So our goal in this deep dive is to move towards real-time thinking, where your mind and your mouth can sync up smoothly, without that internal filter just draining your mental energy.
Exactly. We've pinpointed why our brains get caught in that translation trap, but the real question is, okay, how do we escape it?
Yeah, the practical stuff.
Right. Let's turn to some practical daily habits, things that start integrating English into your world almost without you noticing.
Okay, first up.
Our first tip for you is to label your world.
Label your world. Okay.
Yeah, it's surprisingly effective. It's about building these direct, non-linguistic links in your brain. You simply stick Post-it notes on things around your house, on your door, your table, maybe your mirror.
Ah, I see.
So when you see door on the actual door, your brain forms a direct visual semantic link.
It bypasses the translation step, like door is door.
Exactly. No need to go through your native word first.
Okay, that makes sense. What's next?
Following that, the second strategy is to talk to yourself in English.
Right. I've heard of this one. Feels a bit weird, maybe.
It can feel unusual at first, yeah. But this simple act of just narrating your day, even mundane stuff like I'm making coffee or where are my keys, it powerfully trains your brain to actually formulate thoughts directly in English.
Ah, building the internal monologue muscle.
Precisely, and without the pressure of someone listening.
Okay, got it. Tip 3.
And for our third piece of advice, we encourage you to use thinking time.
Thinking time, so pausing.
Yeah, pausing just for a moment before you answer a question in English. Let your brain actually process the thought directly in English rather than instinctively translating it first.
So it's not just about slowing down, it's intentional processing.
Exactly. It's about actively building a new mental pathway, strengthening the direct thought to English connections, and letting those old translation pathways, weaken from disuse.
Okay, so those are some foundational habits. What about using media and tech?
Right. Once you start building those daily habits, you can really accelerate things by leveraging the digital world. Our sources really highlight media immersion as a game changer here.
Okay, what's the fourth strategy then?
It's wonderfully straightforward. Switch your device language to English.
Oh, yeah. Phone settings, computer.
Exactly. That sounds simple, maybe even trivial, but what makes it so effective?
Well, I guess you see it constantly.
Constantly. Every tap, every notification, every menu becomes an English moment.
It's like constant low-effort exposure.
Yeah, it primes your brain for English thinking, just ambiently, all day long.
Okay, cool. And tip 5.
Then we have tip number 5. Watch English content without subtitles.
Ooh, okay. Taking the training wheels off.
Kind of. It's not about rote translation from subtitles anymore. It's about pushing for genuine comprehension. You're training your ear and your brain to grasp meaning directly from the sounds, the context.
Instead of relying on that translated safety net.
Right. It forces your brain to actively create meaning from the English itself.
And this next one, tip #6, I hear this recommended a lot. Shadowing.
Ah, yes. Shadowing. It's often cited as a real game changer.
So how does it work exactly?
Basically, you listen to a short English clip, maybe a sentence or two,
Yeah.
and then you repeat it aloud in real time, almost like you're their linguistic echo.
Okay.
You're not just mimicking words, though. You're trying to internalize the rhythm, the intonation.
The flow.
Exactly, the flow. And critically, the speed of how a native speaker connects thoughts to speech. This helps your brain bypass translation by focusing on the overall sound patterns, the music of the language.
Making that hearing to speaking link much more direct.
Precisely.
Okay, these are great immersion techniques. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of actual communication. Those moments when you're actively speaking and need to respond like now.
Yeah, real-time pressure. Our source material offers some powerful advice here. What's fascinating is strategy number 7. Answer English questions in English.
Seems obvious, but...
But the key is forcing it. Even if you internally think about the question in your native language for a split second, consciously force yourself to formulate and speak the response in English first.
Ah, okay. So you're rewiring the response mechanism itself.
Exactly. You're repeatedly activating that direct English-to-English loop, making it the default path.
Training an automating response.
Yes, rather than routing through your native tongue every single time.
Okay. And building on that, tip #8 talks about simplicity.
Yes. Use simple phrases instead of translating complex sentences. The material gives a great example. Just say, I understand. Instead of trying to translate some complex, perfect phrase from your language, like, my depth of comprehension regarding this topic is complete.
Right. Nobody talks like that anyway.
Exactly. Simple works. It keeps the conversation flowing.
It's about prioritizing communication over, perfect linguistic gymnastics.
Absolutely. Keep it moving.
So we've got habits, immersion, real-time hacks. What about the mindset?
Crucial. Finally, let's talk about those important mindset adjustments and the huge power of consistent, small efforts.
Okay, tip #9.
It's all about perspective. Accept mistakes as growth.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, definitely. But your brain learns by doing, and that includes doing with imperfect English. Every little stumble, every grammatical error, it isn't a failure.
It's feedback.
It's feedback, a necessary step forward, a moment for your brain to process and adjust for next time.
Love that. And the final tip, number 10.
Tip #10 introduces the concept of daily micro-challenges.
Micro-challenges, like small goals.
Yeah, really small, setting short, focused English thinking zones, maybe just for 1 minute, while you're brushing your teeth or waiting in line or washing dishes.
Just consciously thinking English for that minute.
Exactly. It's about consistency, not intensity, creating frequent low-pressure moments for your brain to operate directly in English.
It's easy to feel like these are just tiny steps, though. Do they really add up quickly? What about the immediate impact?
That's a great question, and we have a real-life anecdote from the source material that illustrates this perfectly. It's about a student from Vietnam named Linh. Apparently, in every introductory meeting, she'd think in Vietnamese first and then just freeze up. Couldn't respond.
Oh, that sounds stressful.
Totally. But her transformation came from working with just 3 of these tips. She focused on labeling objects, switching her phone to English, and using those 1-minute thinking zones. Just those 3.
Okay, and the result?
The result was remarkable. Within weeks, Linh was responding in English without that hesitation, asking questions confidently.
Wow, weeks. That's fast.
It is. And that's not magic. That's the powerful combination of strategic, consistent practice and what the source calls heart, that dedicated effort to actually rewire your cognitive approach.
It really shows how quickly the brain can adapt when you give it the right signals. Consistently.
Exactly. The right stimuli, consistent input.
Okay, so let's recap what we've uncovered in this deep dive into unlocking direct English thinking. We explored 10 really powerful strategies. Label your world, talk to yourself, use that thinking time.
Switch your device language, watch English content without the subtitles, practice shadowing.
Right, then answer English questions directly in English, use simple phrases.
And finally, accept mistakes as growth and embrace those daily micro-challenges.
Phew, that's a lot of great stuff.
It is. So, your challenge from this deep dive, if you're up for it, pick just 2 tips today. Maybe labeling and self-talk, or switching your phone in micro-challenges.
Just 2 to start.
Yeah, try them out. And really pay attention to your experience over the next week. We're pretty confident your brain will surprise you with how quickly it starts to adapt, how it changes its default thinking pathways.
And this journey to real-time thinking, it isn't just about English, is it?
Not at all.
It's about freeing your mind from unnecessary filters in general, allowing for more spontaneous, more authentic expression in any area. So, what stands out to you from today's deep dive? And maybe think about how these ideas, direct association, intentional practice, might apply elsewhere, in other areas where you want to think more directly, more clearly.
Lots to think about there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Keep exploring, keep experimenting, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.